Julian Kebby, and this is my Module 4 assignment submission. For the duration of the pandemic, researchers have believed that COVID primarily affects the lungs in the form of pneumonia, but is there more to this virus than originally thought? As hospitalizations and complications due to COVID-related blood circulatory impairments rise, it has led researchers to understand that COVID may be affecting red blood cells in the body. In the article, the writer states 40% of deaths from COVID are related to cardiovascular complications, and that the disease starts to look like a vascular infection instead of a purely respiratory one. Through studying the virus, it has been discovered that once the virus enters the body through ACE2 receptors lining the nose or throat, it travels to the alveoli in the lungs. Once an individual begins to cough, the tissue in the lungs begins to break, exposing blood vessels. Like the nose or throat, these blood vessels contain ACE2 receptors which the virus begins to infect. This spread is not commonly seen in a respiratory virus. In the article, Ben Early, a professor of microbiology at Incan School of Medicine, explains this, stating, "The difference between SARS and SARS-CoV-2 likely stems from an extra protein each of the viruses require to activate and spread. Although both viruses dock onto cells through ACE2 receptors, another protein is needed to crack open the virus so its genetic material can get into the infected cell. The additional protein the original SARS virus requires is only present in lung tissue, but the protein for SARS-CoV-2 to activate is present in all cells, especially endothelial cells. This infection of endothelial cells is especially alarming as it explains many of the blood-related issues occurring from the virus, like blood clots and heart attacks." The writer goes on to further state, endothelial cells help regulate clot formation by sending out proteins that turn the coagulation system on or off. The cells also help ensure that blood flows smoothly and doesn't get caught on any rough edges on the blood vessel walls. With this being known, it may explain why those with pre-existing blood-related conditions have been more vulnerable to the virus than those without. In the end, this evidence leads researchers to support the belief that COVID is not purely a respiratory infection and that there is more condition to be tended to when dealing with this virus in the future.